a transparent process. Thank you, Mr Speaker.
Mr Speaker.
I call the honourable member Chris Okenvold.
Thank you, Mr Speaker, and it's a pleasure to stand for the third reading of this particular bill. I felt the Attorney-General, Mr Finlayson, gave a wonderful introduction to this third reading, and indeed it's a very serious bill, and it was followed equally well with the Chair of the Select Committee, Ruth Dyson, and it's been a pleasure to work with her as her Deputy on this particular issue. I guess this bill is, one could see it as a continuum of change, of updating, of looking ahead, of bringing the services that we have in Parliament that are entirely for the nation, bringing them to a level that's commensurate with modern travel, modern working ethics, modern communication systems. Things change. In the past, there have been all sorts of different ways of establishing processes, procedures, and entitlements for MPs. There used to be the time, of course, when MPs, and I'm sure the Speaker can correct me if I'm wrong, not that I'm suggesting it's within his purview or memory, but there was a time when MPs simply stayed here for a whole block of time during a year, completed the business, and then went back and worked in their electorates rather than the weekly business that we transact now. Who knows, with electronic communication we may be able to change further in the future. But this bill, the Members of Parliament Remuneration and Services Bill, third reading, has been a refreshing bill to be part of, and I'm very pleased that we've addressed this during my time in Parliament, and that I've been able to participate in the process. Because this government is committed to having MPs and ministers' entitlements determined in a transparent, independent and non-partisan manner. It's important the public has confidence in the regime for setting entitlements, and the bill puts more power in the hands of independent decision-makers appointed to do the job, and the Speaker and the government have already taken several steps to improve transparency around entitlements. This bill takes that a step further and sets it in legislation. One of the features that I think was particularly important, Mr Speaker, was the committee process, select committee process. And we were particularly well advised during this process of this bill. The submissions came from a range of people with much experience in the matter of how Parliament runs, and the officials available to the committee were drawn from several disciplines. And I think I speak for all the committee members when I say that the advice we received was of a uniformly very high calibre indeed. And so the word changes that have been introduced to this bill as processed through the Select Committee. This is actually what select committees are there to do. There has been some criticism in some media that, gosh, the Select Committee has made changes. Well, it would be of a concern if the Select Committee process did not make changes as a result of the submissions, consideration of the submissions we received. That's why we don't need two houses of Parliament. We just have the one, because the Select Committee fulfills such an important part of the process. I might make a point, Mr Speaker, that I think it's particularly important to have full involvement of all parties in the process that the Select Committee goes through. And I'm always a little concerned when everything seems to be completed in the Select Committee process, which is the real place to have debate. That is the place to have debate when the committee is working together with the advisers, and after the advisers have gone, when the committee makes its own considerations. For it then, for parties to come forward with SOPs, which we haven't had the opportunity to debate, is a disappointment, and that did occur with this bill. However, the third reading is complete. The bill reaches its completion in the third reading, and I'm very, very happy, Mr. Speaker, to give it my support. Thank you.
I call the honourable member